You know, I'm gonna say something that might be surprising to you, but I think anime can be a great way to teach people some important life skills. Well, technically all media has that possibility, but lately I've been impressed with the number of anime that have given me an interesting perspective of things I've never really thought about. Like in my last video, I mentioned Ghost of Tsushima, and because of that I've been writing haikus lately. Also, do you remember Bocce the Rock? Well, let's say I've been taking guitar lessons because of it. Could use some work. So other than the fact that it shows how easily influenced I am, what I'm trying to say is that I'm always on the lookout for that one show to give me something I never really thought about. Something I never really considered, like going to mixers or maybe visiting a zoo, or I don't know, fishing maybe. But come on, there's no way there's gonna be an anime about... Are you serious? Negative Positive Angler is an original animation by Studio Nut, so like many other original animes, this comes straight from the studio who have made some well-known shows like the sequel season to FLCL, FLCL Alternative. Can they not think of a better name? But I know this studio from their last original anime, Bullbuster, which did not impress me. It was a nice story about a startup company trying to survive in a highly competitive environment, but I felt it could have used more direction and I was left annoyed by how it ended. However, I was more optimistic about this series once I learned who worked on it, as the main writer of this show is Tomohiro Suzuki, and he has some impressive credits as he's worked on shows like Lupin, The One Punch Man. Yes, I love The One Punch Man. As he's worked on stuff like Lupin, One Punch Man, and recently was the scriptwriter for Frieren Beyond Journey's End. Okay, I know what you're thinking, he didn't come up with a story, and you're right, but it's one thing to write a best-selling manga, and another to adapt that work into an anime. I mean, we've all seen our fair share of anime adaptations that didn't live up to the hype. And the scriptwriter's job is to ensure that the anime catches the spirit of the manga, which would involve removing or editing certain scenes. Like watch Oshinoko Season 2 if you want to see how writers' priorities can differ when writing for different audiences. Writing is an art and its quality can vary depending on who you're writing for. So if the writer was able to do this with a beloved series like Frieren, I'm really curious what he's going to do with this original series about fishing. Oh, I'm sorry, angling. I can't really say that I've watched a show revolved around fishing, but why don't we just cast our lines and see what bites? Did I just make a fishing metaphor? So we're introduced to Tsuneshiro Sasaki, a university student who is currently trying to kill himself. Well, that's one way to start an anime. But anyway, Sasaki is at his lowest point, as during his time at university, he had been diagnosed with terminal cancer and was told he had only a year left to live. Realizing his predicament, he decides to live life like his last, so he stops going to classes and spends most of his money gambling on pachinko, while also making some shady deals with loan sharks who constantly hound him to pay his dues. However, one night he is confronted by the sharks, and fearing for his safety, he jumps into the water and accepts his death, but he is soon rescued by a group of friends who were angling in the Tokyo River. It's here that Sasaki meets all these new people and is soon thrust into a different path where he's introduced to angling and learns there is more to life than sinking his money into the pachinko waterhole. I have to admit, the start of the anime was pretty bleak as it showcases depression really well. As you can see how hopeless Sasaki is of his situation. Even before his diagnosis, the man was struggling with keeping up with all the other students, and the diagnosis was adding oil to the fire. Honestly, I can't begin to explain how well this anime just manages to portray that feeling of being closed off. It's not to the levels of Evangelion, but it was to a point where I could actually relate to it. The anime perfectly sets up the direction Sasaki is going, and provides him the steps to rebuild his life. But like I always say, it's not always about the destination, it's about the journey itself. I didn't quite expect to be so taken in by this simple hobby. And yes, I am aware that people actually do this in real life. And to be fair, I do like it in video games as well. I don't think that's how fishing works, Kiryu. Anyway, we not only learn how fishing is actually done, but we also learn about the community around it. As Sasaki meets all these people from different backgrounds who all come together thanks to angling. And to the anime's credit, it does drop some interesting knowledge about angling I never really thought about. I mean, it's not the best way to learn about this stuff, but it's fascinating all the same. And I do find it funny that whenever fishing becomes a focal point, the anime is quick to remind us that you shouldn't fish anywhere you want, and you really need a license for it. So, get one. They even let Sasaki join in on the fun, and he's immediately captivated by the sport. I suppose it could be linked to his gambling habits, since you never know what happens when you cast your line, if anything. But seeing the characters just standing there, waiting for that one nibble, I don't know, there's something really peaceful about it. Of course, Sasaki finds this company incredibly alien based on his experience in the past. He's very hesitant about being around people so upbeat, but at the same time, it's a change of pace for him. He will never really get over what he's feeling, and the anime makes a point to show that Sasaki's journey is an arduous one, as he faces many setbacks, like losing his house. I mean, he actually loses his house. It gets demolished, like, right in front of him. And he also meets some old university friends as well, but he feels ashamed about it. But even with these setbacks, he still clings on due to the positive experience he's had lately. You could say that angling has him hooked, and no matter how much he tries to fight it, he's still being reeled in. Honestly, I'm looking out for new experiences, and I feel like anime has done that really well. And with this anime, you get a sense of a new beginning, that even though that so much has gone wrong in your life, it doesn't mean that it's over. Whether you're a struggling university student or a salaryman in a black company, it's these type of shows that stand itself up among the usual slice of life that I'm used to. It shows the betterment of a person, no matter what their situation is. And the title of the anime really says it all, from negative to positive. And this is basically what Sasaki's journey is all about. Man, I really like this anime, but I'm also a bit trepidatious about the ending. I mean, I have an idea of how it could end, and if it does end how I think, it could be interesting to say the least. Okay, I've just finished watching the final episode of Negative Positive Angler, and wow, okay. This is what I want for an anime that's about rebuilding your life and just getting yourself back to normal, but also going beyond that. Oh, the ending and the final scene, it just got to me, man. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me. I can't say it's my most in-depth video, but frankly, I just wanted to gush about an anime for once. But I would highly recommend this show if you want your wholesome anime. Honestly, I was missing some of that last season, so this anime has come in clutch, and I'm glad the studio has proven me wrong after that Ball Breaker anime. It's crazy what you find when you cast out your line. Sure, there's not a lot of nibbles on the bait, but when you do have one, you'll be surprised by what you reel in. You know, I'm really surprised about these fishing metaphors because they kind of really get the sense of life. Like, you can literally put anything in these metaphors and it makes sense. The sea or the ocean represents life, and we are like fish in the pond or the lake, whatever. And it's okay if we fail or not able to meet any new fish because there's plenty of fish in the sea. And then there's the bait, because we gotta be careful about the bait, as some of them could be very good opportunities, something that we could just take a nibble on, but we gotta be very careful about those opportunities, otherwise we'll be fishing a barrel. And you know those rapids that you see in those lake thingies? Well, that could just be a symbolism of how tumultuous life can be. You never know what you can expect downstream, as it's not always going to be all smooth sailings. Oh man, I'm such on a roll. If you guys just stick with me for a few minutes, I'm going to roll out some more fishing. Wait, what are you guys doing? Whoa, no, don't.